Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show, and we are on WS Radio. And we have some special guests, actually 4 in the studio right now. And we're going to spend a good 4 segments on a program. And we're going to start with someone who's been on this show already, and that's Nora Kenney-Whitley, Dr. Nora Kenney-Whitley. And she's at Palomar College, and you're running the transitions program, correct? Mm-hmm. Very good. And then Leyva, he is also at the Palomar College transitions program. Is that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. And what's your title there?
Well, my title now is I'm a professor at Palomar that teaches the transitions program, and I also work at Cal State San Marcos.
Excellent. So you're doing a couple of campuses.
Yes.
Nice. Boy, I want to know more about your story. And then also with us are, let me do this right, Nayeli. Gonzalez, and she is the chair of the. Tell me the name of the club.
Transitions Collective.
Transitions Collective Club. And are you in San Marcos?
Yes.
Okay. And then also with us is David Gonzalez, and he is the club secretary. Is that correct?
Yes.
Very good. Welcome to the show. Very good. I don't think we've had 4 guests before, so this is a new thing for us. It kind of takes the pressure off, right? So we're gonna share time and information and perspectives and all. But we're really here to talk. And why I'm so excited about this show is when we look at literacy and we look at a number of our students, they have different journeys. There's different things that happen in their lives and different obstacles. And quite often we focus on folks who are at the lowest level of literacy and who have this desire to read better, and they have career goals and all that, things they want to do with their family. And then we have folks with special challenges that dealing with incarceration and such. And I think that's what we're going to talk about today. Is that right, Nora?
That's right.
Okay. And this, what you're doing at Palomar, this is new for you?
It is.
And tell us about your job description, and then how we've come to be here today.
I'm happy to.
All right.
So my job is I'm the transitions program coordinator at Palomar College in San Marcos. And Martin, who's sitting next to me, actually founded that program. So, and then also the program at Cal State San Marcos. I'll let him tell his story, but I just want to frame that. So the program does 2 things at Palomar. There's a summer program where students who have been either they're formerly incarcerated or system impacted. And so system impacted means that you have family members, your community, mass incarceration has impacted you. So you can speak to that experience with other students. So it's a cohort model that the students come in every summer, and they take classes together and they form a community. So that's the one component of the transitions program at Palomar College. The other component of the program is that we actually have classes that happen at the Vista Jail, the Vista Detention Facility. So right now we've got 2 classes, but we're in full swing at Vista. It's been a little complicated with COVID, but we do have classes that happen every semester there. Usually the classes have 20 to 30 students. They're earning college credit. The same classes that happen at the campus happen in the jail. Okay. So those are the components of the Palomar Transitions program.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm in this.
I think we need 2 hours. I mean, that's when I'm listening to all this.
Well, especially because I'm a talker, and Martin has lots of amazing stories, so maybe. But I came to this role because prior to joining Palomar Transitions program, I actually taught at the jail in the adult education space. So I taught adult high school, computer literacy, English for speakers of other languages, and I worked with there's a veterans module inside the facility that's about 64 military veterans. So I worked with them as well on their newsletter. So it was kind of a natural progression. I feel like in some ways I graduated from the adult ed space into community college myself, along with my students. So a lot of the students who are starting in the summer were my students at the jail prior to their release.
Very good. Okay, so they're seeing folks on the outside.
Definitely.
Wow. Okay.
Definitely.
Wow. What a nice. Because a lot of times you don't get to see that. I think if you're doing an education program in a jail setting, you're not going to do something outside, I guess. Right?
Well, so the great thing is if people are incarcerated and they're taking classes as Palomar students in the detention facility, we have them in our records, and we can say, hey, you're getting out in December. Do you want to continue in January? And then it's just a natural progression right from the detention facility. They've already got credits built up,
right.
And they're just ready to go. They're familiar
Wonderful.
with doing the work at that level, and
good,
it's amazing.
Good work. I love the way it's structured. And Martine, do you ever get to go inside the jail, or do you see people when they get over to the campus setting?
I myself have gone into the jail just a couple of times, but I don't teach in the jails. To be honest, I still have kind of this PTSD going into the jail because I spent so much time in jail and prison. And so when I go in, it makes me feel uncomfortable, but constantly remind myself I'm there for them, for the brothers and sisters in there, know that they have a place to come home when they get out, so.
Yes. And so are you one of the first people they see when they come in? Or, I know there's a transition. So they're being released and they still want to continue their education. Are they going to see you? They're going to see Martine?
They'll see Nora at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
So I work recruiting people for Martine's classes, and he's a big sell. So when I talk to people and I say, hey, you've been referred by a probation officer, by someone we're working with juvenile court schools who also refer students, and when I tell students that their sociology class is going to be taught by someone who'd been incarcerated, and a lot of them know who Martine is or have met him, they're very excited about that. So that's something, because going to college is scary, especially for people who have these extra challenges and all these things going on in their lives, and this identity, college isn't for me, that kind of thing.
And fear of success.
Absolutely. And both fear of failure and success, and just the unknown. So I talk to them about the program, and then if we both decide that they're a good fit, then Martine actually teaches them in the summer.
And why would a person not be a good fit? What would you see? This will tell you.
Some people want to just get started working right away because they come from low-income backgrounds. That's really important. And Palomar also has programs that are apprenticeship-based. And so someone who wants to be an electrician and just immediately wants to start working full-time, they can do that through Palomar's programs. So if someone has seen themselves as a college student and has said, I really think I want to do that. I loved reading and when I was locked up, and I really got interested in ideas around like mass incarceration and social justice, then it sounds like they're a good fit. But they have to really want to go to college, because you got to have that staying power.
Well, yeah.
It's no joke.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't oversell it, because I don't want them just to be there for the summer. The intent is that they continue going to college at the next semester.
And why is this? I do want to get in depth with your story, Martine, because I suspect there's been this journey for you, and I'm also curious about what happens with someone with your experiences. Put it this way, I'd want to be in that sociology class too, right? Because you're going to get a perspective that you typically don't get. So I do want to come back to that. I guess just going back to what's happening with the campus. Why is this important to Palomar College?
Wow. So at the core of Palomar College and community colleges in general is this notion of equity and educational equity. So when we talk about literacy, immediately embedded in the word literacy is the political realm. And I see you looking at the clock. So
that's okay. We're good. Okay. I'll do this.
Because I can talk a long time about this. I know. This is actually what my Ph.D. is in.
And I'll tell all of you, so the segments, you're going to go, is it over? Yes, it's fast. It's fast. Yes.
So literacy is inherently political. Your show is called Literacy for All, right? So
yeah,
there are right.
Yeah.
There are people who get access to literacy by the virtue of their economics of their family and the color of their skin. That's the sad truth about it.
Yeah.
So when we look at literacy, the way that it was defined was by white men who were in the academy, in the ivory tower, who were really good at reading and writing. And so they went, oh, let's define literacy as reading and writing. You're right. I mean, it's just a very privileged position. They probably didn't even ponder that the Vai people in Africa had been passing down these amazing languages and literacies for thousands and thousands of thousands of years. The Aboriginal people in Australia, same, right? Had been literate in different ways for 60,000 years or more. So when they're defined literacy, that's what they were thinking of. So our students, many of them don't have access to that very narrow definition of reading and writing. So I brought some of my textbooks, and this one is a favorite of mine.
Which one? I was looking at the Bad Boys one, so I'm curious about that. But the one you're pointing to, which one is that?
So the one I'm pointing to is by Paulo Freire and Donald Macedo. And they are both from the Brazilian education pedagogy. I don't know what I'm just going to butcher the word. Anyhow, the book is called Literacy: Reading the Word and Reading the World.
Wow.
So, in a nutshell, literacy in terms of this book, they don't use this term, but I think of it as decolonizing literacy. So instead of thinking of literacy as reading and writing, okay, well, how do you define reading? If I look out the window and I see that it's wind, that the trees are moving, that's wind. That's reading.
And I want to come back to that. It's really important given the investment that your students will make into this because of this approach.
Okay.
So we're ending this segment right now.
Okay.
We have so much. I'm like, what question do I ask next? But we'll be back. We have a whole crew here from Palomar College, and we're talking about the Transitions program. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
Can you help a newborn baby in need? Sometimes the blessing of birth becomes complicated and perilous. Miracle Babies is there to help. Miracle Babies helps moms and dads give their all to their struggling little baby, but still need more. When you give to Miracle Babies, you help them give more. More skin-to-skin care, breast milk, and love. Go to miraclebabies.org and give right now. Be their miracle.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Homeless veterans and their families are suffering and need our support, but many won't ask or don't know that help is within reach. Veterans Community Services is here to help. Amazingly, about 35% of the homeless in our neighborhoods are veterans with families. Low-income veterans or their friends are encouraged to contact Veterans Community Services and reach out for help with housing and other services. Call now, 800-974-9909.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The WorldLink program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children, because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Jose Cruz. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show, and we are on WS Radio. We have with us a crew from the Palomar College Project Rebound and Transitions program, and they're doing things out of San Marcos, right? CSU San Marcos and Palomar College in the North County of San Diego. We've been talking to a number of the crew, Nora, Kenney-Whitley, Dr. Whitley, and I never call you that. That's awesome. I like it. Do you go by Dr. Kenney-Whitley or Dr.?
Dr. Kenny.
That's great. And then of course, Martine Leyva, who is also with the Transition program. And then we have from the Transitions Club, the chair, Nayeli Gonzalez. Did I do that right this time? I'm supposed to be able to do that. and then David Gonzalez, and he's the secretary of the club. Nora, we were talking about the definition, the framework of literacy and such,
Right.
and I want you to close with that, and then we're going to go switch over to Martine.
So basically, looking at reading and writing in much broader terms that people do in everyday lives, and that happens very often in our detention facilities.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give you an example, looking at in the detention facilities, there are codes and literacies that are so complex. We can't even scratch the surface here. But if I sneeze 3 times, Professor Leyva is going to laugh. Because he knows that means that Sancho, it's a weird, funny, superstitious thing that if you sneeze, is it 2 times or 3 times, that means Sancho is hanging out with your lady.
I'm familiar with the terminology.
Right?
Yeah, yes.
So literacy is so much more than just reading and writing. And well, how do you define reading and writing? So as I was saying, is reading me looking at the tree that's outside and watching it blow in the wind. So based on that, I know that, it's hot outside, this is fire weather, right? So I'm reading the weather. So what we're doing with Transitions and Project Rebound is we are taking the ability to have those very complex ways of reading and writing that our students already have and have been perfecting all their lives, whatever their lives entail. And we're showing those foundational skills you have, we're going to transfer that into the academic literacies, and we're going to help you by getting access to those academic literacies that serve as gatekeepers for certain people from underserved communities.
And when has anybody ever had that kind of conversation with them, right? When you think about it, because we come from people from a deficit position.
Absolutely.
Versus their culture, their experiences, and things that are practical.
Absolutely. And I feel like the schools unfortunately contribute to this dynamic of mass incarceration. I have in my hand a book called Bad Boys, Public Schools and the Making of Black Masculinity. And in this work, which is an ethnography at a school in California, the author looks at how a boy who's in 2nd grade has already been pegged as a criminal by staff and teachers and administration. And I also saw the same dynamic in high schools where I worked, which was actually not just white people putting these labels on children, but administrators and teachers and staff and other students of color who also would identify a child and say, that kid is going to be dead or in prison by the time he's 18.
So I want to transition from there to Martine.
Yes.
And then ask you, did you have that experience? Did you feel that? Did you at a young age talk about yourself? Because I think it's key to what's taking place and the asset that you are to the individuals who are coming in. But just maybe how things were when you were growing up and how you did in school and how you came to be where you are today.
So from my experience and then what Nora was just saying, We definitely saw that, and this is why transitions programs are so important, right? The original program is from Santa Barbara City College, which when I moved to North County, brought it to Palomar. And for my own personal experience, I dropped out. Well, let me change that. I was pushed out of high school in 9th grade, already labeled, had these many labels.
So they didn't want you there.
No, I mean, the labels came from my community, came from my family, came through the public school system. And when we look at the public school system, I mean, really, they're only teaching to the top maybe 5 to 8% of the school. The rest of the school was managed some way. And by the time 9th grade came, I realized I didn't have a place here, so I left. And I kind of lived up to their labels, went to juvenile detention, went to jails, eventually went to prison. And in 2007, it was April of 2007, I came home from prison and realized, okay, so what am I going to do? So I started college in August.
So were you already reading? Was that a challenge for you? It's something that you...
I love to read. Now, did I really understand what I was reading? You know, there's this non-traditional ways of education in prison system, especially in early 2000s. There wasn't that many colleges going in to teach. It was mostly correspondence education. We really didn't do anything. We were trying to teach ourselves. But when I say non-traditional education, there was elders on the yard who would give me books. We would be able to be critical about the books. We would review literature, and they would ask me over and over again, like, what it meant, looking at mass incarceration, looking at the diverse nature of incarceration. And I was able to get an education, but it wasn't an education that came with a degree or certificate. But when I started college in 2008 or 2007, there was one point when I realized I'd rather be in prison than here because I was terrified of the campus, right? Nobody spoke my language. And when I say language, I didn't feel like anybody dressed like me, anybody talked like me, anybody walked like me. I was a standout just based on my appearance. And so when I started the Transitions program, it was basically me using these prison survival techniques. Like, I have to find my own group, right? My own safety net. And so I started recruiting people from the parole office to come to school.
Wow.
And next thing you know, we had a support group that turned into a program, and a program where men and women, different backgrounds, different race and ethnicity, different sexual orientations. The one thing that bonded us together was our experience within the carceral state. And so we started this program, and we've been able to prove over the last 13 years that those individuals that really wholeheartedly, from our experience, give themselves to education, 85% don't go back to jail or prison. And it doesn't mean they go into higher ed, but they learn some self-esteem, some self-worth, some self-respect, the care. They really want to be the solution to the problems in their communities, and they find jobs, and they're able to speak about it. And I always, and why David Nayeli is here, because I always feel like those of us who are closer to the problem are closer to the solution, right? Those of us who have this experience to say, you know what, maybe the community college doesn't seem to really want you there, but we want you there, right? And I think the greatest education we ever had is our own personal experience. And so when we're able to speak the language of the community, the marginal communities, we speak the language of solution. And so I always feel like, I get excited that Nayeli's close to getting her master's degree, David's getting his bachelor's degrees, that we can go back into our communities with credentials and say, here I am, and I'm ready to make this change, right?
And I love the 85% figure is a number we need to get out there. What do you tell somebody who says, I'm done, this is not working for me? And I know you've had to have that conversation.
I've had to have that conversation many times. And actually, each semester, that conversation comes up. And it's a quick reminder saying what you were doing before this. Because we formerly incarcerated system impacted students, we have more than just that label of being formerly incarcerated. We go out and get a job. We can't get a job because of our record. A lot of times we don't speak the language of the employer or the corporation we want to get a job with. have so many, I think, bills and families and all these other things that weigh on our shoulders, right? And I always say, you can go back to, to some old ways, but the old ways never really served us, right? Education really isn't just about getting a degree and getting a better job. It's about challenging our addictions, challenging our old ways of life, our inherent nature to. I mean, if I had to go make money, I can make money. It's not that difficult, but we also know that the consequence of that is hard, right? I mean, it's back in jail, back in prison, and is that really where I want to be?
Yeah.
And so I would say it's worth it to stick it out. We don't have to go through those hardships alone, right? Yeah. And that's the other thing. A lot of times when I feel stressed and anxious, I tend to seclude myself and cause like some division between me and the group that wants to help me. Mm-hmm. But here it's like, hey, I helped individuals survive prison just like someone helped me survive it.
Right.
The community college, I'm going to help you survive this because somebody helped me survive it too. Right. So and they listen. We do lose some, and then it's even harder because when we go from a community college to 4-year degree, it gets even harder because here you're supposed to know your stuff. You're supposed to know what you're supposed to do. Yeah. And then you get to this bigger campus with these bigger expectations, and that's why we have like the Transitions Collective and Project Rebound.
So I want to come back to the skills aspect of things, and again, I think that's really important because I went to community college. Yeah. I didn't start at a CSU, and had I don't know that I would have made it. Yeah. And so it's good that all of you are there and helping people feel comfortable in this setting, right? Yeah. So we're going to come back with all the folks from Palomar College Transitions Program and Project Rebound. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com. Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com. Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. Christopher McAuliffe.